Cancel culture. Cancel culture. Metastasizing. And importantly, we're going to talk about how to get it back. Just the News, John Solomon's site. Great piece today. Cancel culture hits fever pitch. Journalists, critics, actors, TV hosts, musicians in the crosshairs. Folks, I'm having a hard time going through all the examples of just the cancel culture episodes that have happened since Friday. I'm not kidding, because it's gotten so bad, it's really tough to keep track. We've had reporters, since just this last week, reporters even at liberal rags canceled. We had Gina Carano, excellent actress, and a real American hero right now, canceled from The Mandalorian on Disney Plus. I hope you canceled your Disney Plus, folks. What else? Oh, The Bachelor. The Bachelor, dude. Has there ever been a more benign, non-political dude than Chris Harrison at The Bachelor? It's like, man, Tony, do you accept this rose? What the hell is that? Do you accept this rose guy got canceled? Not a joke. You may be laughing come on, Dan. Right. Chris Harrison, do you accept the rose guy? You know his face. You may not know his name. Yes, he got canceled too. John Solomon's piece. Just the News. Quote, there's blood in the water, folks. Cancel culture's seemingly growing intolerance. I'm sorry, I hate when I cut myself off. But this is genius. May be related to several factors, according to Philip Smith, a professor of sociology at Yale University. Wow, Yale and an actual moment of brilliance here. Very strange how that happened. Quote, here's Philip Smith, this professor. I guess we can argue that there's an interaction effect between social media, the psychodynamics of a brief moment of mob power, free-floating anxiety in our age that can latch onto something, and the pleasure of moral indignation, Smith told Just the News. Bingo! Just like Joe Biden when he said he was going to take your guns. Came through with that too. He's trying right now. We'll hopefully get to that later, if not tomorrow. That's important. Two critical takeaways from that first screenshot in Just the News. A little hyper today, folks. That's okay. First, Joe, what did we talk about last week with cancel culture? There's power in the mob. Mm-hmm. There's power. People crave power. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not complicated. It may sound overly philosophical and metaphysical in some weird way. It's not. It's just a simple tautological truth and fact. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, to quote Lord Acton. People crave power. Why? Because the same reason we crave Five Guys burgers. Because it tastes good. Power just feels good. It leads to things like prestige. A padding of your ego. It gives people who have, sadly, and I do mean sadly, rather meaningless lives in many cases. It gives them meaning and a cause. Mm-hmm. Mob power is even better because you can lose yourself in the cause without having to take responsibility from its outcome. Mm-hmm. What do I mean by that? Quick story, if I may, point of personal privilege here. When I was a police officer with the NYPD, one of the things they used to teach us in riot control training was that if you're looking at someone straight ahead of you and you're on that line holding the bike rack while people are ripping it, taking it apart and trying to attack you and riot, one of the best things to do is if you can get their name, to look them in the eye and say, Robbie, calm down. It was brilliant. Why? Why does that matter? Why does a person in the middle of a riot care about having their name and being asked? No. One of the advantages of being in a mob, whether it's a cancel culture mob online or an actual mob in real life, is the ability to emote, feel your power, sow your oats, but not face any of the personal consequences so you get lost in the collective action. When someone looks you in the eye and says your name specifically, it personalizes you again. It grounds you back in you rather than this collective mob that seems to take over where people just do stupid things. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, I've tried it multiple times. It works. It personalizes people. It makes them realize what they're doing has consequences. Them, personally. They can't just blame the mob. I know it sounds crazy, but it works. There's power in a mob. Second point that Professor Smith there made is there's pleasure in it, ladies and gentlemen. There's not only power in a cancel mob, but there's pleasure in it. Joe, it's just a fact, right? If you don't like doing something, you stop doing it. A lot of things Joe and I don't like, we stop doing it. This show has evolved so much from the early SoundCloud days, you can only find those episodes there, that it's probably unrecognizable to people if you just started listening and go back and listen. Why? Because Joe and I didn't like stuff. We were like, that's good, that's not good. You don't stop doing it. You don't. Me and Joe didn't sit down and go, we don't like that segment. Let's do more of it. Nobody does that. I mean, we're laughing, but it's true. So if you don't like canceling people and you get no sense of enjoyment out of it, you would stop doing it, but they don't. It's only getting worse. That's why this is so dangerous. But let's go. All right, now that we've set up the problem, liberals, their radical leftist cancel culture acolytes, love mob power, number one, and they get some sense of satisfaction from it, number two. How do we fight back, and what's the problem? Well, I can tell you first. Let's first say what we shouldn't do, what not to do with cancel culture. He also suggested, this is the professor, a blood in the water effect might be at play, one where folks pile on if they sense humiliation is possible. Quote, whatever the person being canceled says is turned against them and feeds the fire, he said. The best strategy is probably to say nothing and wait for things to go away. The opposite of what businesses are told about the need for an apology up front and right now. Public apologies, of course, are a hallmark of cancel culture. With rare exceptions, public figures often rush quickly to issue apologies on social media in an effort to forestall any more damage. To quote Joe Biden, who's going to now steal your guns again, bingo, bingo. Apologizing will do you no good, folks. It only feeds the sense of power and the sense of pleasure people gain from having that power overview. They don't care about the apology. Just ask the rose guy from The Bachelor. Do you accept this rose? Cancel culture's like, double-barreled middle finger, go stuck yourself. Cancel culture cares about apologies? No, not at all. So why do you do them? Because some PR person told me to do it. Do they have any actual evidence it works? No, they have none. So why are you doing it?